Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the OA Outdoor Adventures range of 4.3 wetsuits, which is called the Hype. The 4.3 has been introduced for 2022, and the 4mm, especially in the UK, is a particularly good wetsuit for sort of year-round use, aside from the very coldest months. So kind of that 4mm thickness will be ideal from March, April, right the way through to December, and even beyond, depending on your tolerance for the cold. And the Hype is available for men and for women and for kids, boys and girls colours as well. Obviously they are unisex, they're not exclusive to boys or girls if they like the colour. You've got the girls here, the ladies here, sorry, and the girls and boys suits here, which go right down to an age 2. So that's a 4mm wetsuit for age 2, which is particularly good for sort of those colder months. Get your kid into one of these suits and they'll be good for the day, kind of thing. So we'll run through the technical features of the suit in just 1 second. Just wanted to sort of give you an idea about sort of the brand themselves. Outdoor Adventures, or OA Wetsuits, is just sort of like a wetsuit for everybody basically. And the ethos or the principle of the company is to basically give you those super stretch, good quality wetsuits that will last. Some of the features that you get in sort of like the more well-known brands, but for a lot less in terms of price. So you are getting a really good quality wetsuit, but without having to pay sort of an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds just for the name essentially. So what we'll do, we'll get my colleague into one of the suits and then we can start talking about the features of the suit, the things that make it particularly good for the money, and the things that will actually matter in terms of your warmth and comfort. Okay, so here we have Robbie. He is in the men's or outdoor adventure wetsuit. Just for a point of reference, just to let you know what size Robbie is wearing and his dimensions, he is in a large. It fits really well. The things you're looking for, it's tucked nicely under the armpits, the length's good on the wrists and legs, and obviously, and around the back, you spin around Robbie, it's nice and flush to the kidneys. So, as I say, Robbie's in a large. He is 6'2" tall. He's got a 34-inch waist and a 42 to 43-inch chest, and about 85 kilos. It's weird that I know that, but that's essentially Robbie's dimensions, and that fits perfectly into a large. So there is a size chart there, but you can work from those measurements. Always good to know. So if we take you through some of the technical features of the suit, the first things first. Then we did mention the 4mm neoprene. Now, the 4mm basically means on the lower body and on the core of the suit you've got 4mm of thickness. Okay, and then in the upper part of the body where you need a bit more flex around your shoulders, around your arms, that kind of thing, you've got 3mm of neoprene. Okay, so that's what that actually means. So 4.3, and that is a good weight of wetsuit in the UK, in the colder water, right from sort of, as we say, March or April, right the way through to December, depending on your tolerance for the cold. In the middle of summer, you might get a bit warm, but let's face it, in the UK, you can never be too hot in the UK waters. So that's 4.3. The next thing worth mentioning is the type of neoprene in the suit. Okay, so in the lower body, you've got just like a standard neoprene that you would find in sort of some of the sort of lower end wetsuits. Something like the Omega, Ripco Omega has that in the lower body, and they reserve what's called the super stretch neoprene, which is the really soft, flexible stuff, demonstrated by Robbie, for the upper part of the wetsuit. So in the suit, it's under the arms when you need that extra stretch, over the shoulders, and around the back of the sort of arms as well, around the tricep. So you've got lots of flexibility and comfort there. And then you've got the more standard neoprene in the lower body, which is still good quality neoprene and still does have a lot of thermal and heat retention and flexibility as well. Okay, but that's how it's sort of structured. On the front of the wetsuit, you've got a smooth skin panel. Now this stuff is a single lined neoprene, basically, so it's not lined with lycra on the front. The reason for that, this sort of smooth textured neoprene is particularly good at keeping wind out of the wetsuit. So if you don't get too much wind penetration into the suit, which will obviously keep you warmer in those sort of cold, breezy days. You get that around the front, around the back. You twist around probably, Robbie. Then you just get this double-lined neoprene as well. Okay. All of the seams are strategically placed. You've got none over the shoulder or under the arm, so that gives you lots of sort of movement where you need it. And then even around the sort of lower here, and around the lumbar as well, you haven't got straight seams. Everything's bent to match the contours of the body and give you loads of flexibility. If we move through to the actual seams itself, what we'll do is we'll zoom up on the ladies' wetsuit, and essentially what's happening here is a glued and blind stitch seam. It's definitely something you want in colder water. So essentially what happens there is it's stitched halfway through, and on the inside of the suit it is then glued. Okay, what that does, it stops any water penetrating the seam, keeps you warmer for longer, and keeps you in the wetsuit and keeps you more comfortable for longer. It feels better against the skin, but most essentially it keeps cold water out of the wetsuit. So this is a GBS glued and blind stitch wetsuit top to bottom. So on the back zip of the suit you have got this sort of flap which goes around the neck, and it means it's an adjustable collar. And what we're going to do, we're going to zoom in on this. Okay, so have a little look. And basically what you've got there is a nice big patch of Velcro, which allows you to sort of move and fasten. It folds in on itself as well, so that the Velcro on the sort of male side of the Velcro won't grab onto the lycra of the wetsuit itself. And on the inside of the collar there, you might notice the smooth skin fabric. And that smooth skin fabric is basically there to stick to your neck, create a good seal, and it stops any rash and rub. Okay. The zip itself is a PK zip. The PK zip is particularly good at not corroding or clogging up with salt, and it's just a good sort of zip to keep water out of the suit. And you've got that flap underneath as well, which just stops any water that does come through the zip actually touching your skin. Okay, so that's the back zip. It goes nice and low on all of the suits, meaning that it's easier to get in and out of, as we say. Lower down on the suit as well, we have a little sort of look down here. That's the Duraflex material on the knee pads, which is a really robust material which stops any wear and tear on the knees, which is typically the place where a wetsuit will sort of wear through, especially with things like surfing or anything really, because you do tend to use your knees quite a lot and it is a place prone to wearing through. So that Duraflex material is really robust and will stop that happening and giving the wetsuit more of a shelf life as well. So that's pretty much everything noteworthy about the Outdoor Adventure wetsuit. As we say, it's available for men, women and kids, and it goes right down to the age 2. There's this little wetsuit here, still in a nice sort of thick 4mm. So yeah, Outdoor Adventure, this is the Hype, and you can check it out on our website, and the link will be just above.